Okay, we're back again, episode 167 of This World Blows. What's going on, cats? I'll tell you what's going on. So last night, before I'm going to bed, this article pops up about Sum 41 singer Derek Wembley putting out a book, and I guess he's talking about sexual crimes that happened to him from his one-time manager, this guy named Greg Norrie, who is the singer of a Canadian rock band called Treble Charger. Now, check this out. Greg Norrie is someone who I wouldn't say I knew, but I was sharing emails with him back in the day when I was in a band, Cactuses, I think. Yeah. In Cactuses, this old band I was in, we went to Canada, met up with Greg Norrie, this guy who rapes kids. We didn't know this at the time. We didn't know this until last night. But basically, this guy, Greg Norrie, we met up with him, and he kept, we went to a party with this guy, and then he kept disappearing, and we were like, we just assumed he was like a cokehead or just like a party guy or something. But this guy was playing this weird courtship game with us as a band back then, and he didn't end up doing anything with us, which now I realize is great news, because he was boinking all of his boys, and this is fucking crazy. My dad brought up Greg Norrie 2 weeks ago to me. He said something in passing like, "Oh, if only Greg Norrie had signed you guys," and I can't wait to tell him that Greg Norrie is a rapist. So it's great news that my band didn't get successful, you guys. This is wild. It honestly is really weird to hear a name like Greg Norrie, because it's like, that's someone from the past. Again, all the things in my youth are coming back. I remember Treble Charger was a band when I was in high school or just beginning. This is just so weird, because it's just, on the last episode I talked about how things from my high school are now re-emerging in real life in this adult landscape, which doesn't make sense at all. Like Linkin Park, all these dumb things that people should get over are coming back. So Greg Norrie, from a forgotten band called Treble Charger that me and my older brother used to listen to, and who almost worked with my band Cactuses, is now been outed as a pedophile, a groomer, a gay man. Not that those three things are the same thing, but he's been outed as all three of them. And that's, wow, it is, I can't explain how weird this is, for me personally, that I dodged getting Gregged. Learning that at this age is pretty wild. And also, these are the things that make you look back and go, I guess I won't be bitter about not being successful in music, because you're allowed to build some kind of bullshit narrative in your head now that says, you would have been raped, which is probably not actually true, but I will go on and believe that so I don't have to feel like I lost or I was a loser and didn't succeed in creating successful music. So what else is going on out there, folks? Okay, let's keep focusing in on the weird shit from my high school that is now coming back. And here's what's fucking insane. And this applies to Linkin Park, Sum 41, Good Charlotte, any band that was out 20 years ago. You should not take them seriously now. You shouldn't have taken them seriously back then, because they were fucking horrible, and just it doesn't even need to be talked about if Sum 41 or Good Charlotte are a good band, or if they're even a band. These are plants. These are jokes, okay? But anyways, the point is, the natural rhythm or the natural way of life is that when you get older, you look back at the things you liked when you were a kid and you laugh at them. It's silly. That's why when you see some grown man now who's way into Guns N' Roses and won't let it go, you laugh at that person because he's a fucking loser that thinks something from his youth is still cool. Which, of course, it's not. So any of these fucking idiots that go to When We Were Young Festival and think that My Chemical Romance and Sum 41 and Blink-182 are bands that are hard-hitting, emotionally connected bands, you're gone. You're fucking gone. There's no help for you. There's something happened, and I don't know what it is, but something happened to this generation of people that they've refused to look back at the new metal or whatever the shitty things that were around when they were growing up, and they embrace them. That's all they have is Papa Roach. It's so pathetic. I mean, last episode I was raging against normalcy and how people are just boring in their houses, but that's honestly much better than the person who goes to a Papa Roach show and is screaming their heart out because they really mean it. We got to carpet bomb this entire world. And whomever happens to live through it, they're going to be put through a series of tests to see what kind of music they like. And if they fail those tests, we're going to kill them too. We're going to get down to about maybe 100 people left on the planet, and those are the people that are sane. Like I mean I'm joking right now, obviously, but I am getting legitimately angry because I also do know people that are 38 years old, grown-ups, that really think Blink-182 getting back together is important. I know grown-ups that act like that weird loser interviewer Zane whatever, that are so passionate about these things you're supposed to make fun of. Like, it's crazy to me that you could look at Guns N' Roses or any 80s glam metal band and laugh at them and say, that's so dumb looking, and then put on a fitted baseball cap and go to a Blink-182 concert. You're fully. But keeping in line with these important things from my high school past, the bassist of Incubus, the original bassist, Dirk Lance, who I've talked about many, many times on here, finally gave an interview 25 fucking years after he quit Incubus. And guess what, folks? He does not talk about why or how he quit Incubus. He literally, for a full interview, his only interview he's ever given for 25 years about why he quit this band, he literally says nothing about why he quit. Won't say a word. But instead just likes to talk about his bass style and playing. So that was shockingly disappointing. This guy, I mean, it's crazy. This guy will not admit the truth. And we all know why. We all know why he won't admit the truth. It's because he fucked up royally and quit a successful band, just like the guitarist of POD, just like the drummer for Papa Roach, the bassist of Chevelle. All these people, yes, this music does suck. Cock, of course. But if I was the guitarist of Good Charlotte, Asher Rogers, I would still have to stay in that band. There's no... Don't quit something successful, you fucking idiot. Like, the bassist of Incubus literally thought he was going to take the fame of Incubus and start his own group and be as big as Incubus at the time in 2003 or whatever. Which, again, hilarious. Like, it's so funny that he thought he would be successful outside of Incubus and has done absolutely nothing. He was in a jam band called Willie's Nerve Clinic for a little bit. And in some truly hilarious radio rock horrible group called East of June for a couple years.
I wanna be honest, I took a wrong turn, I did it over and over again.
It's just like, the most respectful thing you could do, Dirk Lance, is admit that quitting Incubus was the dumbest decision you've ever made. You of course regret it. You're of course so fucking bitter and mad that you did that, and you will never be able to even, look at yourself and go, oh yeah, I'm the one who fucked up, because you're a piece of shit. Anyone listening doesn't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't know Dirk Lance, but he's the former bassist of Incubus, and you can watch old interviews of him. He's this snide little fucking bitch bastard that clearly thought he was very funny, thought he was the shit, thought he mattered, and then he found out that being a slap bassist in a 2000s band is a replaceable position. And so when he quit Incubus, he was never heard from again until last week when he gave this interview in which he pretends he's totally fine with that he left Incubus. Everyone's got their own different paths, I just won't talk about it ever. That's how fine I am with it, is I'll never ever speak of it. I'm not mad though. So anyone out there who's been waiting for this interview just like me for literally 25 years. I mean, I'm not joking. If you listen to this podcast, I've been harassing Dirk Lance on social media. I've been following him around and saying things to him for years because he won't admit that he regrets quitting Incubus, and he definitely does. So speaking of other failures like this, I got roped into watching a bunch of Chevelle interviews, kind of documentary things. A lot of these bands don't have official documentaries online, but they'll have clips of them in studio or interviews and stuff. And if you guys don't remember the band Chevelle, they were the Christian Tool ripoff. They were that era, like POD. They were one of those bands that said they weren't. Or they didn't say they were a Christian band, but they were, and everyone knew that because they all came from tooth and nail Christian labels, and all their fans were Christians. So it was just you're doomed from the start. Everyone knows what you're doing. Blindside, POD, all these dumbass Christian bands. And just like all those bands, Chevelle would make music that was incredibly depressing because you're supposed to feel, say it with me guys, broken for Jesus. You're supposed to feel horrible every day because of Jesus. That's what Christian music says. You're supposed to be broken for God. So Chevelle would make this horrible Tool ripoff music, very specific Tool ripoff also. And eventually, the youngest member of the band, also, the members of Chevelle were brothers. They're three brothers. The Chevelle brothers. And the youngest member was the bassist. And eventually, he gets kicked out of the band. He says, or they say he quit. He says he didn't. There's a huge, online fight. The kind of stuff, I love. Brothers putting out paragraphs saying, I didn't quit. You said this, and then I said that, and then you said... It's so funny. And I watched some interviews with them. I've been trying to get as much info as I can about it. And they're kind of tight-lipped about it, obviously. But what they have said about it is that this happened also 8 years ago or something. And they have not talked to their baby brother since because he quit their rock and roll band. Now, this is absolutely Americana perfection. This is what I loved. I fucking love this. Someone that's willing to ruin their family or whatever. It is ruining their family. They can't have family get-togethers. They were asked in an interview, what's it like at family get-togethers? And they said, well, we just don't do that. So now for a decade running, your family can't meet up for holidays. Your family can't get together because you're a rock and roll band Chevelle. That is hilarious. And I love it. I love that Americana beautiful story of a people who are willing to choose MTV TRL over their sibling. And the great thing is this, too. It's not like pop music where you could maybe stay somehow relevant in some... Chevelle's never, ever going to get another song on the radio. They're never, ever going to be talked about again. And that's why it's funny that they're willing to keep this charade... Or they're willing to keep up the animosity with their brother. It's like... I would almost understand it if you were a global superstar. You'd have this huge temptation of this, to keep the train running. But you don't. You're nobodies now. You have nothing now. Nobody even knows if Chevelle is still a band, which they are. But nobody even knows that. So to keep going and continue to keep your baby brother out of your life because you're a rock and roll band. I just love it, guys. I fucking love it. I love this world we're living in. Speaking of the world we're living in, I was just recently informed by Katy Perry that it's a woman's world and we're lucky to be living in it. I'm sure everybody already saw this. Katy Perry's tried to come back with a new song and it's not going to work because she is a mom now. And this is not my personal belief system. This is just the way the pop world works. You have to be young and hot, Katy Perry, and you are not. You are now old, and you look old. I'm not trying to be mean here, but I'm saying compared to what a pop star will be, you look old as shit. You look horrible. And so she comes up with this new music video, new song called It's a Woman's World. And what they're doing in this video is so artistic and wild. It's women dressed up in construction clothes and doing men's jobs. That's wild. And it's also been done many, many times before, including the work from home video by, not Danity Kane, who the fuck was that? Whoever that was, work from home, they're full construction outfits doing construction. This idea has been done a million times, actually, where women are dressed in men's clothes doing men's job, and that's supposed to be provocative or say something, and it does not. And the lyrics are literally, it's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it. And it's such obvious rage bait. Because if you had a video of men giving birth and doing other things that are primarily women's job and said, this is what men do, and be like, all right, well, that's the opposite of the truth. You're just trying to get people to be mad and comment here. But the thing is, I don't think people are even going to comment on Katy Perry because she's gone. She's done. She's literally right now on a Mexican reality show, and I'm not joking. If you haven't seen this on Instagram, I don't know why Instagram's pushing this to me, but Katy Perry is on this Mexican reality show. She can't even get onto an American reality show. She's on a Mexican reality show. She can't really understand what they're saying. The cameras are also horribly cheap. It looks like a third world country. It's so embarrassing, but she's trying to promote this new album and stay relevant, and it's deeply shameful. It also always was shameful. Katy Perry always did this thing where she would get people that everyone's making fun of and put them in her videos to try to pretend like she's a great person, which she is not. She was using them. She was, as the kids say, clout chasing. Katy put out a song called Last Friday Night, and then she put Rebecca Black in the video. Oh, that's so giving of her. She put that stupid backpack kid in her basketball video that everybody made fun of and was horrible. And in the new video, she's put Trisha Paytas, or whatever her name is, that OnlyFans mukbang moron person that Ethan from H3H3 helped make famous. And it's really sick because, again, Katy Perry's always trying to say it's women empowerment, but you're just using someone who's internet famous for being made fun of in the moment to make yourself look hotter. Katy Perry's literally riding in a car with Trisha Paytas, and it's like you're pretending like you're not trying to make yourself look better by having this fat blob in here with you, but you're saying it's girl power. Absolutely not. She just looks psychotic, honestly, at this age, taking Ozempic and doing all this weird shit. Also, Katy Perry was not overweight. I don't know what she's doing to herself. She's like morphing her body to try to stay young. And Jesus Christ, it's gross. Also, I mean, I think Katy Perry's fucking voice is disgusting. The way she sings. I've talked about this on the cast before, but the way she sings, she's that fake Canadian, like, rounding of words. Remember that song, Thinking of You, and it was Thin Can of You? Thin can of you, when I ride, thin can of you. That's Katy.
You're like an Indian summer in the middle of a winter, like a hard candy with a surprise center. How do
It's very bad. But I thought about that song the other day, and I was like, there's this note that happens in that song, Thinking of You. There's this turn that happens that it's almost, it was happening in music a lot of this era, and it seems like AI, or it seemed like it was like forced into the song, where they would jump to this minor note, or they would jump to this like Beatles or oldies note. And forced this pop song to do this minor change lift thing that does not make sense. And they did it in that Beyonce song, what is that one? You Must Not Know About Me. Irreplaceable. You must not know about me. You must not know about me. The same thing happens in the song. In the chorus, that last, bar of the chorus, it hits that minor note and goes to that place that doesn't make sense for this pop song at all. And that has always, like, enraged me. It doesn't make sense at all, like, song-wise. But you know what does make sense is the music video for Irreplaceable, where Beyonce is rocking out with a band of 20 women all playing instruments that aren't featured in the song, because it's women power, Like, I don't see how women don't feel patronized by people like Beyonce and Katy Perry. You should feel deeply mocked by people like Lady Gaga. These people do not represent women. They're making a mockery of you. You should hate them. Women should try to kill them. If I had a genie in one wish, it would be that all women try and, well, they do, they succeed. It would be all women attempt and kill any pop star who is patronizing them. That should be the new way. I'm tired of all these male killers. Like, here's what's crazy. Like, if a psychotic guy killer killed a pop star, you go, oh, he's a psycho, he's a whatever, he's a stalker, he's a crazy person. That's why we need women to do it. Because maybe the reason they do it would be taken more seriously if it was a woman. Like, you might listen to why they did it, instead of going, oh, it's an obsessed fan. If a woman kills Katy Perry, and they go, yeah, she's a bitch, then we go, you know what? Let this girl out of jail. Like, that's not a crazy reasoning at all. If she was obsessed with her and thought she was talking to her telepathically, then you got to go to jail. But if you killed Katy Perry because you know that that's the right thing to do, I'm going to make you the governor. Oh, okay, that's going to be it for today, guys. Just remember, Greg Norrie from Treble Charger, the former manager of Sum 41, is a rapist, and I was so close to working with him. So close. So until next time, that was episode 167 of This World Blows. Bye-bye.